and wounded a fourth. Some of you might think I'm about to launch into a tirade on gun control. I'm not. All I want to do tonight is ask you a question, and it's this. Are you okay with what happened in Las Vegas last night? Sounds like a silly question, doesn't it? But I'm serious. Some people in our country believe in pretty much an unrestricted right to bear arms of any kind. To them, this latest shooting is simply a byproduct of that freedom. Carried out by an evil man. Don't blame the guns. If that's you, I understand where your beliefs come from, and I get that a lot of factors play into this very complicated issue. If you're not okay with what happened in Las Vegas last night, I hear you. You know, every time these shootings happen, the story is told the same way, and it's often Lori and me and other anchors reading a line that sounds something like this. They simply went to a concert to have a good time, and they were killed. In my son's case, they simply wanted to get together one last time at the end of summer before going back to college when the gunman opened fire. So what's my point? Well, it's really quite simple. All of us needs to do our part to solve the gun violence epidemic in America. We should start with the fact that 7 out of 10 gun deaths are suicides. So if we really care about gun violence and gun deaths, we need to look at that number. We should lobby in Olympia for more state spending when it comes to mental health programs. Did you know until recently, Washington was just about 50th in the nation for spending on mental health care? A point not lost on a very angry Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich after that recent shooting at Freeman High School. So people who are depressed, mentally ill, or who are just kids, they shouldn't have easy access to guns. And that leads to another key factor. If all gun owners secured their firearms, it would go far in preventing suicides, other unintended gun deaths, and even in some cases, mass shootings. Think about what happened at Sandy Hook. Adam Lanza's mom took her mentally ill son target shooting with her AR-15, a gun that she later left unsecured. Adam's first victim was his own mother, and he used her own gun. If that gun was locked, would it have prevented the murders of all those innocent kids at Sandy Hook? It might have. Is that something we should legislate? I don't know. That's up to you. We also need to ask the question, do we really need 30 or 100 rounds in a gun to protect ourselves? Should we pass laws limiting the number of bullets a gun can hold? Again, that's up to you. If we had more time, we could talk about background checks and how our culture literally celebrates gun violence in the movies, TV shows, and through video games. So here's what I believe is the most important thing we can do. We have to empower one another and our kids to realize we are the first responders. We are on the front lines of this fight. In the Mukilteo shooting, the shooter explicitly texted friends and said what he was going to do. Nobody called the police. We have to get to the point that we and our kids feel empowered to get help for those at risk. The TSA tells us if we see something, say something at the airport, right? Isn't that what we should do everywhere in our lives, everywhere in our country? I want to get back to the question I asked a minute ago. Are you okay with what happened in Las Vegas? If you're not okay with it, then what are you going to do about it? We need to be honest, though. We're never going to be able to prevent every shooting, but maybe we can prevent one or two or some. Maybe we can get the number of those killed lowered than they otherwise would be. We also need to take this debate back from the fringes. This is not going to be solved until we find common sense middle ground. Tonight, all I ask is that you reflect on what you can do to make a difference. Own your part. I'll own mine. And let's move forward, because this has to stop. I want to hear from you. Go to the King 5 Facebook page, facebook.com/King5News or youtube.com/King5 to respond. I know some of you will have some really strong responses, and that's okay. I want to hear from people on all sides of this issue. I will be reading. I will be talking about your responses in the coming days. I do believe if we all work together, we can make a difference. Thank you.